his first substitution actually should have been Rachel Williams, because at least with Williams there, they could have like at least uh gotten ahead on something. It's not like Williams changed the game or anything. That's also because nobody was getting the ball to her. But if they had just like Hail Mary it, thrown everything in the kitchen sink at it, storm the box, long ball into box, Rachel William head goal. I think that should have been the eventual plan. And I think eventually that was the plan, but I think it could have been implemented faster so that it actually does work.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of All About the W. My name is Kai. Ash is here with me, and we are going to review game week 19 of the WSL. Ash, what did you think about this game week largely? I know there's a lot of Champions League energy that's going on, but the WSL also happened. So, what did you think?
I mean, there were some unexpected results. I think a few draws, which in the scheme of things, didn't really make a difference because like I was excited when United dropped points, but City dropped points too. So it really didn't amount to much, I think.
Yeah, hideous cousins that. But anyway, you know what? Let's dive right into it, Ash. Let's start with the first game of the weekend, which is West Ham versus Manchester United, which finished 0-0. Ash, you know, like I mean, I can't praise West Ham enough to be honest. Like
Yeah.
they have now taken points off of United, Chelsea, and Man City. All draws, of course, but still, it's not easy to do. And I think they're yet to play Arsenal at the Emirates, if I'm not mistaken. No,
No,
they're
they
not.
they 3-4 against Arsenal, right? That
Oh,
was
right.
West
Oh,
Ham.
yeah. They almost got a draw out of that game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like honestly, their home ground is becoming a bit of a fortress now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and we also know, like, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts, but I watched Mark Skinner's post match, and he was saying, "Oh, West Ham came here not to play football, but to spoil the party or something." But anyway, I like our if people who listen to us often know that we have a lot to say about Mark Skinner, and we could go on for hours. But let's not waste anybody else's time. Tell me what you thought about this game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really rich coming from Mark Skinner about playing football and everything. Anyway, uh, like what to say about this game? Like, I think West Ham had a game plan, and I think they achieved it because they got a result and a point. Basically, they ceded the entire pitch to United and defended their box, which I think worked out because United are not just like slow on the ball, like they're positively glacial. They are so slow. Like it was so predictable. And that, like West Ham could easily pull off last minute saves. Like everything was coming from the Bizet side. There was no switching of play. And by the time it reached Bizet, West Ham had already braced for the cross, except for I
Yeah.
think one occasion. And like United had 5 shots on target, but like really only one big chance in the game. And eventually I think they just gave up and they were like resigned to Clinton shooting from a distance. I thought it was a terrible performance from that sense from United. And I think Mark Skinner brought on like his first substitution actually should have been Rachel Williams, because at least with Williams there, they could have like at least uh gotten ahead on something. It's not like Williams changed the game or anything. That's also because nobody was getting the ball to her. But if they had just like Hail Mary it, thrown everything in the kitchen sink at it, storm the box, long ball into box, Rachel William head goal. I think that should have been the eventual plan. And I think eventually that was the plan, but I think it could have been implemented faster so that it actually does work. And by now, I just feel like a broken record. Like over the whole Clinton Toon thing, I don't know what to say anymore because it is not working. Like at least with Clinton, when Clinton disappears in the game, at least she tries something. She like sometimes she'll be brave and she'll take a shot from distance and see if try her luck. And in that sense, like she'll make a goal out of nothing. So I'm still like respectful of her for that. And like she did her work rate wasn't too bad either. Toon, on the other hand, like maybe had one or two good plays in the entire game. Apart from that, I thought Toon was like totally absent. I just feel like, in fact, Toon should have been taken off at halftime because I really didn't see the point of her being there. And plus, West Ham had ceded the entire midfield to you, so you could have just like not had a midfield, like just put all your forwards in
Yeah.
and go for it, because really there was no need for a midfield. They had just been like take. And I will say this about West Ham. They had about they had one really good opportunity and two or three like they had three shots on target, I think. And uh Ueki and Asai, that combination between the two of them, the understanding is so good. Like
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping West Ham would score because they didn't get a lot of chances on the counter and they didn't have a lot of the possession. But when they did have possession, they actually knew what they were doing with it. And now I'm thinking perhaps that's the way to beat United. Just give them the ball. They don't know what to do with
Yeah, actually, not a bad shout. Like,
it.
but yeah, I think Rico Ueki is one of those like totally underrated players. Like, I feel like she can do better in front of goal. I don't think
Yeah, yeah.
she's been a particularly big goal threat this season. I think the threat comes from, say, the likes of Asai or Martinez or Puebel when she comes on, Manuela Pavi. All these people have been scoring. I feel like Rico has not really got her goals, but the amount of work she does, even inside the box, some of her movements and some of the assists that she has this season are like absolutely amazing. A big fan of Rico Yoiki,
Yeah.
actually.
Also, her ball control. Like when she gets the uh ball up high, or like her first touch, everything. She has excellent ball control. Like technical ability. I think she's scores very highly on. Like I wish that she would increase her conversion rate. I think that would make her into a perfect player, and I think that she deserves a move to a bigger club if she could just work on that.
Yeah, yeah, possibly. But Ash, let's move on to Man City
Yeah,
versus Everton, shall we?
yeah. So Manchester City versus Everton ended 1-1 in a draw. Everton, another team that's been getting points off the top four very consistently this season. Kasper Aie scored in the 13th minute. Hornbeck scored in the 33rd minute. Uh, Kai, how did you feel about this game? We were a little worried about how bare bones Manchester City is. What did you think?
Honestly, like probably the most interesting thing about this game was the team news. I
Yeah.
was like, when I was sitting down to sort of like just to organize my thoughts for this episode, I was just sitting and thinking about it, and all I could think about was the changes in the lineup for both teams, actually. For instance, Emily Ramsey coming in goal, which I thought was for Everton, like she was out with a long term injury throughout last season, pretty much, and most of the season. So it was interesting to see that change, especially because Everton are playing a City. It's not necessarily a place where you want to make a rotation, but also like Courtney Brosnan has been decent in goal for Everton. Like she's the second best shot stopper in the league right now, and um, of course she had that one mistake. I don't remember the one where she kind of went for the ball and completely missed it, which is again very very unlike Courtney Brosnan. So I don't know what the reasoning there is, but it's always nice to see a player come back on the pitch after a long term injury. And I don't think I thought she had a decent game. Um, and Rebecca Knack is back for Man City. Nick Cushing also mentioned that Lauren Hemp will probably be there on the bench in the next match. So that things are looking somewhat bright for City. I mean, Knack was back. Pryor retained her like position as a right side centre back, and Laia Alexandri dropped into the midfield, which I thought was interesting because she also plays there for Spain from time to time. So I thought that was an interesting decision because I feel like Man City's midfield has not been working really well, even with like Jill Road not being injured, being available. I feel like the combinations have been a bit all over the place. So she played alongside Yui Hasagawa, and I thought she had a pretty good game. Uh, but yeah, I mean, speaking about the specifics of the match and not just the team news, um, the first goal for Man City, they looked really good in the first like 15 minutes. You know, they were moving the ball around with intent, and the first goal was great. Like Carolyn did really well to hold up the ball, pass it to Casper. I kept running, put in a good cross. All over. It was a lovely goal. Like basically you had Lily Murphy who won the header. Casper I just had to tap it in. Like extremely well done all over the in all parts of the pitch. It and also it was back. It was very direct from City. Like it was back to front. It was a ball from Keating that Carolyn kind of held up and passed it on. So that was again interesting. Anyway, Casper got the goal. She went and picked up the Fowler shirt like as they do in Manchester City these days. And but also shout out to Kasparai because she's been like super vocal about in a support for trans people. Given the recent like laws in the UK and like general rise in transphobia, she like had like a trans flag around her wrist, which she kissed, which is like awesome. A big
Yeah,
big
I
shout.
love her. I just love her. Like I think, she's just the nicest human being, she's a great player for sure, but like also just seems so wholesome. I just love it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think she's also like she's a good player. She's very chill, and she's also like funny and stuff. And is clearly a nice human being, so that's nice. Um, yeah, and like in terms of City's midfield, I did feel I don't know if it's because they were playing an Everton side, but their midfield did look like more in control than I've seen them in the past few games, which is always which is nice to see, I guess, given the kind of injuries that they have. Like that's the way City like to play, and when that's disturbed, they kind of look a little bit at a loss. But Everton's goal, which was cool for a couple of different reasons, I felt. First thing being like it's the same thing we've seen over and over again, right? Like the benefits like that you reap from pressing Keating. It's becoming a bit of a problem for Man City and also Kiara Keating. Like she was pressed and she put out like a like her pass was not great. It was not like directly to an Everton player, but Hayashi did manage to win the header. It was like an assist from Sarah Homgard to her twin Karen Homgard, who headed it home, which was another cool thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love this home guard twin situation that's happening, okay,
yeah,
online. It
yeah.
is the best.
Yeah. It's really interesting, right? I mean, it's fullback to fullback, which is always a wonderful goal to see. It's just like my favorite kind of goal, like when one fullback assists the other. So that's fun. But also like them being twins and they did a little skip together, like at the
Yeah.
same time in the celebration. So that's great. But you know what? I felt like City created enough to win the game. They had like an XG of 2.1. Everton had an XG of 0.5. I think, yeah, City just were not clinical. Like Carolyn had this brilliant chance that dropped to her. Should have like struck it first time. She took a touch and then another touch, and then the chance is gone. So yeah, yeah, it ended in a draw. So City dropped points again.
Yeah. Do you think City's season is done? Like, is there anything to play for anymore?
I mean, statistically, I think it's still possible for them to get the Champions League spot. I mean, I think for them, the benefit is that United also drop points. So right now, like City are at 36 points and United are at 43. So statistically, if City win all their remaining games, and if United uh, like lose, I think two of their remain. No, three, like
Yeah,
draw
they have
one and
to
lose
play
two,
Chelsea, Arsenal, and City,
and
right?
City. So yeah, it's really possible. Like for example, I think a good thing for City is that they have players coming back. I think Knack being in that back line is a big boost for them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Cushing was experimenting with this Alexandri in the midfield situation,
yeah,
which I don't know. I feel like he might be hard pressed to pursue, continue with that.
yeah.
So given her performance, so it's going to be really interesting.
I actually think Alexandria in the midfield is not such a bad idea. Like, yeah, she plays there for her country, and I feel like she has the necessary skill set. I think that it's just about getting used to the role. So I don't
Yeah.
see it as necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah, I think the only thing is, the only question you have is like, do you really want to sacrifice the experience of Alexandri at centre back? You know, like you have
Yeah,
Pryor who's put in good performances. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a tough call. It's one that the manager needs to make. I personally don't think you can go wrong either way. It's a
yeah,
tough
yeah,
situation. You just have to make a decision and like I think Alexandria has one job, which is wherever she plays well. Like she has to stay switched on,
yeah,
and she has to like bring her A game into every single game. And it was really disappointing. Like at full time, like Yui Hasagawa just like had like her head in her hands, like she was on the floor sitting like this, and
yeah,
like that kind of said something about like United had dropped points. It was an opportunity for City to
yeah,
close the gap. And I feel like obviously like Hasagawa has basically carried this team through this injury crisis. So I can imagine the disappointment. But honestly, like it's still not over for City. Like I don't think United are going to beat Arsenal. I think
yeah,
Arsenal will win at the Emirates. They might beat Chelsea, like given the Champions League run and all the emotional things that comes with it. Um, I feel like United have a good chance of beating Chelsea,
I
but
actually disagree. I think that Chelsea, after that shameful Barcelona defeat, are just going to be raring to like put it behind them. So I feel like Chelsea will be raring to go.
I think it really depends on how the second leg goes. Like I feel like if it ends up being like a
Isn't the
super
I think the Chelsea United game is before the second leg.
no, it's after the second leg. So
Oh, is it?
we play Palace like this midweek, and then it's the second leg, and then we play United next
Oh,
midweek.
okay.
Yeah.
Because the Chelsea United game is on the 1st of May.
Yeah. So it's next midweek, right?
Oh, oh,
Today is the
right.
22nd. Yeah.
Sorry, my brain fog.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it really depends. I mean, if it ends up by some miracle, if the second leg ends up actually being close or like being an
Yeah,
intense game, um, and let's be real, I feel like Chelsea are playing at home. They're gonna turn up. Like it's going to be an emotional affair no matter what. I think
yeah.
it really depends. Like for me, I think it's the last season that gives me like um, pause because uh, we really struggled against Liverpool after that loss to Barcelona.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean we'll have to wait and see. It's also an away match. We play at least Sports Village, so all things considered. But you know what? Like it's not done and dusted, but I do think it's a chance for Manchester United to kind of get at Chelsea when they're a bit down.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's really over for City. But they absolutely have to win that Manchester derby. There's no doubt about
yeah.
it. Um, Hopefully, that players coming back gives them a bit of boost.
Okay, Kai. Moving on to Brighton versus Liverpool, which ended 1-2 to Liverpool. Aubameyang scoring in the 48th minute, Smith scoring in the 2nd minute, and Kiernan scoring in the 43rd minute. Uh, this was perhaps the worst game, I think, of the weekend, at least in my opinion. Uh, How how did you sit through it?
I disagree. I mean, I thought United West Ham was even worse.
Oh yeah, I that's been
Yep.
banned from my head. I'm just like that didn't exist.
We just spoke about it like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, yeah, it was a little underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. I think, um, yeah, I mean, we expected this game to be interesting, and it was interesting to some extent in that it threw up a result that I didn't expect. Brighton were at
Yeah.
home. I expected them to get something from this game. Clearly, I was wrong. But yeah, I mean, it's important, right? Like for teams like Brighton, Liverpool, West Ham, and now West Ham and Everton, like what they have to play for is like that fifth spot on the table. So yeah, I thought Liverpool beat Brighton pretty convincingly. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was um, yeah, Smith, as you mentioned, opened the scoring. A brilliant, brilliant cross in from Kerry Holland. You know, she spotted the runner Smith, and it was like yeah, she just finished it at the back post, and I feel like Lloyd kind of could have done better because like Smith's first touch, she took a first touch and the ball kind of bobbled a bit awkwardly in front of her, and she still managed to get that shot away. But Lloyd like got beat at the near post. You know, she probably feels like she could have done better there. But what a finish, man! Like what a player Olivia Smith is. Like I think of all, pretty much of all the wingers, like people who play as proper wingers in the league, I feel like Olivia Smith is probably the most clinical winger in the league because we know like Aggie plays in the wing, Mary Fowler plays off the wing sometimes, but like Smith is one of those players who almost always like unless they're playing a 4-4-2, who always plays off the wing, right? So yeah, it's really really exciting to see, and for Liverpool's sake, I really hope they manage to hold on to her for at least one more season. Um, yeah, I mean, Brighton's performance was really, really lackluster. You know, they had like a lot of the ball, but did nothing with it. It's been a pattern right now since January that we've been seeing with Brighton. They had like four shots, one on target, to Liverpool's 11 and four on target, and of course, the two patterns that you'll very clearly see with Brighton. One is a lot of the ball, not doing anything with it. Second is passing out from the back and conceding, and both of these things happened in this game as well. um, yeah, I think uh, given like where Brighton are at right now, they've had a really really poor second half of the season. So I feel like they need to be really aware that West Ham and Everton are kind of snapping at their heels now. Both of them are at 20 points, and Brighton are at 22. And um, I mean, I was just looking at the remaining games. I feel like it could really go any one way. You know, like of the three, like whoever, like any of those three teams could finish sixth. But for Brighton, the kind of investment they've had over the summer, like the kind of belief that they've shown in Dario Vidicic, etc. I feel like a top of the table finish is a must. Like top half of the table, like they finished ninth last time, and finishing seventh this time is just not good enough. So yeah,
I disagree. I think that just the qualitative difference, it'll give you a lot of confidence for next season. I think that their problems have been traveling, and their home, apart from this game, of course, has been somewhat of a fortress. I'm not saying they've like I just feel like they'll take a lot of confidence in the way that they've played, and the fact that they've competed. At one point, they were even competing for the top four. Like,
yeah,
obviously, as the season goes on, teams with better squads, tend to sort of like last longer, and you can see that in Brighton's decline.
yeah.
But you've also seen that Brighton can do nine transfers in a season and replenish their squad. So I see
Mhm.
no reason why they can't go again in the transfer market, build the squad up a little bit so that they can keep their form even throughout the entire season without fatigue, because the way they play requires a lot out of the players. So, which is what I think you're seeing, the steady decline.
Mm.
Um, so I would suggest that sixth or seventh or whatever it is, it's an improvement because the way they play has improved.
Uh, I am yes, the way they play has improved. They have a new manager, so like it's a different style. It's a very specific style. Um, my issue is like I think it's all going to be decided by how they go into the transfer market in the summer because they need very specific profile of players. The issues that they have right now, if you want to play out from the back, you need players who can do that. It's the same problem that Spurs also have, right? Like you have a style which simply does not match the players that you have right now, and the fact that they're conceding so much, I do think they need better wingers or like people who can play in wide areas basically, and maybe a little bit of strengthening, and definitely they need a second striker. I don't think like as much as I appreciate Nikita Paris and her work rate and the kind of start she has had in the beginning of the season, I don't think she's like a 10 plus goals a season striker. Unfortunately, I feel like they need to find that, and for some reason, Vidasic has been reluctant to try Paulina Bremer up top. I find it really weird. He keeps Paris on for 90 minutes in every game. I really find that bizarre. I don't know why he does that. Like I feel like you should at least try to sub her out for somebody. Like give someone else a chance. You never know when it's gonna fall for somebody else. But yeah, I think yeah, it's going to be really like I think yeah, we'll have to see how they go into the transfer market.
Yeah. A word on the Smith tackle, because it's been making the rounds on X by Pattinson. So basically, she got booked. Smith went off injured in real time. Uh, what did you think of the tackle? Did you think it was a red?
Uh, I felt like it was a red. First time when I watched it, I felt like like generally, um, like I think part of it is because it was Olivia Smith. I feel
Yeah,
like the girl gets kicked around so much, so I feel like there's a soft spot somewhere, and like a real desire from fans, like including myself, to see ensure that she is protected a little bit because. And I don't know how one does that, right? Like I think it's like the curse of being a fast winger, you just get fouled a lot, like a fast player in general,
yeah,
um, but I think for me, the issue with this was the pace at which they were both running. Like
yeah,
Pattinson was running really fast, as was Smith. Um, Now, when you make that challenge, you should have the intent to get the ball, and B like should make that challenge very carefully. You know,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I felt like the issue here was neither of that was true. I don't think Pattinson ever thought she could get to the ball. I
yeah,
think her intent was just to take Olivia Smith out, and uh, doing that, like even these are split second decisions. I get it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the pace at which you're running, like you are going to like it was not like I think you mentioned that she didn't go in with both feet, which is good. But at the same time, I feel like the pace at which she was going, like you're bound to injure the player. Like,
Yeah, personally, I understand that cynical fouls are part of the game, so the players don't always go for the ball, and much as we might dislike that as fans who support the team, I can understand that it is not like it is a part of the game, it is part of strategy. People do take cards for cynical fouls
yeah,
and take one for the team, um but when you do that, when you do a cynical foul, you have to always be in control of your body so that you're not injuring the other player. Like it's supposed to be like when you're lunging into a challenge, or when you're diving into a challenge, you have to make sure that you're doing it uh, as safely as possible so that you're bringing down the player but not injuring them,
Yeah.
because it can count as intentional harm. So I think, like, I'm a little split on this, because I do think that because Pattinson went in with one leg and the other was tucked in, technically she was in control of at least that element. And so it wasn't both feet studs up or high. So in that sense, I would say it was a yellow, but because she wasn't in control of her body and she was coming at Smith so fast,
Mm.
I mean, there were serious repercussions or something. Something even worse could have happened to Smith. I don't know what Smith's current condition
Yeah.
is. It could have been even worse. So I think, in my opinion, I'm confused. I would have been happy either way, but I think it was an orange in my head. Like, I'm not sure whether to put it at yellow or as red, but I can understand why the referee gave it as yellow.
Yeah, yeah, possibly. I think when I watched it back, and I think the point that you make about her having one leg tucked in, I think that's a fair one for sure. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, again, Smith coming off was precaution, like as it happened in the Chelsea game as well. But she did look like she was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ash, let's move on to the final game of the weekend, Spurs versus Villa, which finished 2-3. Anna Patton scoring in the 30th minute, Ebony Salmon scoring for Villa in the 56th minute, Jessica Nas pulled one back in the 65th minute, Ella Morris equalized in the 70th minute, and then Kirsty Hansen with a winner in the 91st minute. Ash, what did you make of this game? Uh, I
I'm
watched
just
the first half and I missed all the action. I was pretty annoyed.
I'm just tired. Okay, I sound like a broken record when it comes to Spurs. I just cannot anymore. I'm tired of pointing out how terrible Spurs were. Like, at this point, I'm just wondering who pays the price. Like, I don't think Rob is the only problem at Spurs. I'll be honest. I take issue with the management and the recruiting. Like, Brighton brought 10 players in the transfer market in a single transfer season. Why can't Spurs be equally ambitious? Like, clearly, like you said, we don't have the kind of players that we need to play the style of football that we're playing. Like, I love Ash Neville, but she's never going to be like that, box bombing fullback. She's not going to be Baltimore and getting like goals on the side. That's not who Ash Neville is. So
Yeah.
like, I just like, we clearly have more money than Brighton. Go and get the players you need. And but at this point, I think Rob also needs to take responsibility. Whether that means that he's in pressure to lose his job, or he loses his job. Or, I'm not asking for like him to be fired. I'd like to see some changes. I'd like to see some improvement. Like, it's I'm done. I'm so done. Like, it was all the old problems: losing the ball in possession, not able to win the second ball, no vision in the final third. And like, playing with Martha Thomas is like playing with 10 people. It's 10v11 every game. Like, I forget she's even there. Like, what does Martha Thomas do? Martha Thomas doesn't even hold up the ball. Like, forget scoring. What Martha Thomas cannot hold up the ball. Martha Thomas cannot string together like two good passes in a game. I just do not know what Martha Thomas offers that we play her every day, day in, day out. I was very happy to see Beth England on the bench. We are the Beth England team, clearly. But let's forget about Spurs. Let's come to Villa. Like, Villa should be happy with their performance. They're definitely improving with every game. I don't think they were brilliant, but I think they were just good enough to beat Spurs. Their press was really good. They kept winning the second balls, breaking up play. Salmon made some good runs. There was good composure on the ball for that uh, one-on-one goal, like that Salmon. It was a great run. I don't know if you managed to catch the
Yeah,
highlights.
I do.
And Daly helped create the first goal with a great in swinger. So uh, even on that, like, why was nobody marking Patton? Like, it was too, by the time like, obviously there was very little time, but no one saw Patton run in, and by the time they blocked her, it was too late. Anyway, sorry, let's talk about Villa. Overall, I think Villa, I think, deserved the win. I think the only thing that I will take away from this game, as I root from every game, is Ella Morris uh, charging into the box. Like, lobbing the goalkeeper and then putting in a great goals with some great
Yeah.
composure. So it's
That
just
was
the
her
one thing I take
first
part.
WSL goal, right? For Ella Morris.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's amazing. It's always nice to see a young player. And I feel like she's been a bright spot in that very depressing Spurs side in the last few weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Uh, Fun. Definitely a player to watch out for. Ash, let's wrap up the episode with our fan pundit corner, shall we? Do you want to take us away?
Yes. So basically, to recap for all of those people who are new here, Kai and I do a predictions competition. Basically, you get three points for guessing the correct score line in a game, and 1 point for guessing the correct outcome. Uh, Kai was on 28 points and I was on 16. Since then, Kai got the outcome for the Villa game right, putting them at 29, and I got the outcome for the Liverpool game right, putting me at 17. Um, so that takes us to, I mean, Kai is clearly kicking my butt like in every way possible, like twice on Sundays. But let's just come to the games. Liverpool versus Spurs. Obviously, you will guess Liverpool, I will guess Spurs. Let's get into this.
You know what? I feel like this has a potential to be a 1-1 draw. I feel like it really depends on whether Olivia Smith is fit or not.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like it's going to be 1-1. It's going to be a draw.
Oh wow. I mean,
Also, I'm looking at the table and Spurs are at 18 and Leicester and Villa are at 16. Uh,
listen. I would not be surprised if Villa eclipse us. Leicester,
yeah.
maybe we might get past them, but Villa for sure. I think definitely can eclipse us.
Anyway, yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 Spurs just because I have to. Um,
This is how you're
Palace.
losing. This is why you're losing. You're too loyal to your club.
I cannot for the life of me. I can go as far as the Spurs draw. Like, I cannot predict a defeat for Spurs, even when they suck.
I know, I
Okay,
know.
Palace versus West Ham.
I feel like it's going to be 3-1 West Ham.
3-1 West Ham. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 West Ham. Everton Brighton.
Oh, Everton at home. I feel like they'll win. I feel like it's going to be 2-0 Everton.
2-0 Everton. Um, I'm gonna go 1-0 Everton. Leicester Man City.
Uh, Leicester, Man City. I'm gonna go. I think Man City will win this. I think it's gonna be like 2-0. 2-0 Man City.
2-0 Man City. Uh, I'm gonna go 2-1 Man City. Wow, we have very similar predictions this week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Villa,
V-
Arsenal.
Villa Arsenal.
Oh, can Villa get a draw out of this game? I feel like there's potential. Okay, I'm gonna go 1-1. That's
1-1.
what I'm gonna
Wow. I'm gonna go 4-1 Arsenal. Sorry.
go. It's not happening in the Emirates. It's happening in Villa Park. We'll
It's
see.
fine. Okay, wait,
Anyway,
3-1 Arsenal. Okay,
um,
United Chelsea.
hmm. I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea, but I know I'm wrong.
2-1 Chelsea. You know what? Oh wait, uh I'm gonna go I'm confused whether to go for a draw or to predict a United victory. You know what? I'm gonna go for a United victory. Why not? 1-0 United.
I think that's a good call.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
all right, is that the last one?
yes,
Yeah,
it
that is
is.
the last one. Okay, wow. Okay, we've actually spoken for like 40 minutes, for 4 games. Clearly, we had a lot of thoughts. But anyway, a reminder to all of you out there to subscribe to our channel and like our videos, share them on your socials, all of that. And Ash and I will be back with you with our Champions League games review as well as the WSL reviews next week. Until then, it's bye bye.